Hello, hello, hello. Oh, welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. There I am. I'm so tired of my avatar. Let me see. Let me change it back to young and beautiful. There we go. There we go. I think I was in my 40s when I took that one. God, I look good. I wonder what I'm doing later. Anyway, uh, wonder what I'm doing later. I'd like to know. I might need some company. Let me see here. Are we good? Yes. Well, this was kind of a long day, wasn't it? Kind of a long day. Um, I would say it was a mite frustrating, but don't don't despair, you guys. Yes, the devil has been busy, as often happens. The devil has been very busy, but the righteous will win the day. Okay, the righteous shall win the day. So, um, and I promise you, I feel like there's a lot of people that just don't believe um, the fake doctor, the not a doctor. There's a lot of people that just don't believe her. Um, they see someone very spiteful, very desperate. She comes across as all that. And let me tell you, too, you ought to be very proud because it seems as though, not seems as though, it's a fact that the Sussex squad is a factor. As per usual, the Sussex squad is a factor. And, we're doing what we do. We do what we do best. And that is speak truth to power. Okay? We're doing that. We are speaking truth to power. I'm just throwing just a few more things over here. Yeah, I may as well throw that one in there too. Okay. And that was of no use. Okay, I'll keep that one. And one more. One more just to say I did. Okay. I'll throw that one in there. God, I wonder what it's like to go from obscurity to the center of attention like this. Like seemingly overnight. And there she was, that little opportunist hovering around. I never cared enough to know exactly what her title was. And I don't think she's going to have it for long either. Okay. Got that. Okay, I think we're good. Let me see. Hey, Connie Palmer. Let me see who was here first. Oh, fancy, fancy. Thank you so much for gifting another membership. That is so kind of you. And also, thank you so much for being here first. Let me go ahead and grab these slides for today. Okay. Slides are coming up. Okay. Gracie Infowami is here. Thank you so much. Lydia Washington, Sonia Johnson, MLC, Mary H., Sharon Chung, Carolita Simone, and a host of friends and others. How about that? Catherine Bryant, Beverly McCaskill, Mamie Ricks. All right. And there we go. There we go. Broke, fake, plant, trouble, you name it. There's a few adjectives. Let's see. But there has been some lies detected, and we'll go through those. So, we're going to do this very quick, though, because Mother's Day, in the UK, Sunday, which is already Monday over there, but Sunday is Mothering Day, or for short, Mother's Day. And the Duchess of Sussex shares her sweet family tradition for UK Mother's Day on her Instagram. The Duchess of Sussex shared a simple post to mark the holiday on her personal Instagram page, which she launched, the first of the year. Mother's Day in the United States may not be until May, but Meghan Markle is celebrating the British version of the holiday to mark Mothering Sunday on March 30th. The Duchess of Sussex, who shares, oh gosh, they're doing too much. What kind of cake is it? The dessert features expertly placed orange slices along with red edible flowers. So our family tradition, Mothering Sunday in the UK. Okay, I don't know what kind of cake that is, though. It must be some lemon something. But oh my gosh, does that look good? That looks good. Does anybody know what kind of cake that is? Or do I have to go and take another look? Hey, Church Nelly. Okay. What kind of cake is that? Let me take a look here. Huh. Well, it doesn't say. At least I don't see it. Lemon orange? Okay, lemon orange. Oh, lemon tart. Someone says lemon tart. Okay. Is it like a mousse or cheesecake or something? I mean, it looks really good. And of course, just to make sure that it meets requirements, I hope that the crust or whatever that is loaded with butter. I don't know why everything tastes better with butter, but it just does. It just does. Oh, well, that looks divine. Antoinette Kennedy, Diane Hawkins, hello, thank you and welcome. Lovely. Thank you so much for being here. Our family tradition, Mothering Sunday in the UK. You know, there was supposed to be a emoji of a lemon there, and somehow that disappeared, but that's okay. Yeah, that looks delicious. Love to plate that up. Yum. And then here's a something someone posted. For those saying Meghan Markle's new show out of touch is out of touch, rather. Here is me with Meghan in 2014. I was an editor at Oprah magazine. She was a rising actress in a show called Suits, who was pitching ideas from her blog, The Tig. It was all about delicious food and exotic travels and beautiful objects. Well, I hope and I pray that travel will be in the future for um, Meghan's lifestyle show. I do pray that that is the case. That would just be the icing on the cake. Hey, Joan Garcia. That would definitely be the icing on the cake to have Meghan on location somewhere like Paris. Oh, Paris. Please go to Paris. I would love to see the Duchess of Sussex in Paris. Looks like Meyer lemon tart. Oh, okay. Lemon tart. Oh, I see. I see. That does look like a lemon tart. Yes. That's what it looks like, is a lemon tart. Classic lemon tart recipe. Huh. Thank you for that. Okay. That's what it looks like. All right, so let's get on with it. Harry accused of cover up by scandal hit charity boss. By the way, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. And then if you take a look there on the right, Harry tried to make charity boss defend Meghan. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. I do not believe that Harry and Meghan are in the process of going around asking people to defend Meghan. You either want to do it or you don't. There are people in Meghan's life that have wanted desperately to defend the Sussexes, and they have on occasion. They wanted to defend Meghan, and they have on occasion. But I cannot see Harry using that kind of influence on anyone, especially that little opportunist that calls herself a doctor. I just don't see it. I don't. There are some things that I just know for sure. And there are other things that I'm like, oh, maybe. I don't see it. I cannot conceive of a world, a time, or a place where our Harry, our Harry, would do such a thing. I just cannot fathom. I don't know that world. I don't know that world. Harry did not make himself a trustee. He was not an executive director. He was a founding patron. He was a founding patron. And let's go to the very core, the root of this, how it started, at least publicly. And that is Harry and Prince Harry and Princess so they both resigned out of solidarity of the board of trustees, right? And because of the trustees made a request for that person to step down. They refused and pulled some sly moves and such. And Harry and Princess so they both stepped down. That was the gentleman's way out of it. No fuss, no nothing, just something that would discreetly remove them from the charity, which at this point I would say has been hijacked. It seems, in all outward appearance, to be a hostile takeover. This appears to be a hostile takeover. And so, as obviously someone has planned, enter the daily newspapers, the Daily Mail, the Times, and so on. Someone must be very pleased with themselves. I repeat, someone must be very pleased with themselves because this has turned into a real crap show. It has spiraled out of control. Here's another one: Harry's charity cover up. Harry's charity. I mean, that just does not look consistent. As though Harry. What really frustrates me is the fact that Harry has contributed so much money, and the only grievance that there seems to be is that the um, the chair seems to be of the opinion that Harry was problematic for the charity and exercised too much influence. And what's so contradictory about that is that she says Harry had not been to Africa in 5 years. He only came to Africa because I asked him to. Let's see, what happened in that 5 year period? There was a global pandemic. Harry and Meghan literally had to run for their lives. They also purchased a home, had another child. I mean, there's so many things that are just common sense reasons for someone who is trying to generate generational wealth, establish a permanent home, someone who moved to another country, and the tone that she used made everything sound very neglectful, like Harry neglected his obligations. And I didn't even say anything about Invictus, Better Up, Archwell Production, Archwell Foundation, establishing a foundation during a global pandemic, and to be able to raise money during a global pandemic. Everything that came out of her mouth was so disingenuous. I'm embarrassed. I am embarrassed. I am embarrassed. I really am. She embarrasses me. She's an absolutely embarrassment. I have, on more occasions than I could ever count, I have run to the defense of women, which include Hillary Clinton, who I was like 10 toes down for Hillary, and I still have so much respect and admiration for her. That was probably one of the more exhausting times, was trying to get Hillary elected president. Not just the second time, but the first time as well. And well, things didn't go right, and here we are. And you all didn't know me then, but trust me, and when I say my commitment. Now, in particular, Black women, I have gone to bat in consideration of the women who raised me. I felt it even more important to take a stand, to defend, to argue their side. And then you come across this person who is an absolute embarrassment. She embarrasses me. She really does. I don't have words for it. That she sat there on television and made up all those things that made her seem as though she was this heroic figure galloping in on her horse to save this aging, antiquated system that is holding back, or should I say, to destroy this antiquated system that is holding back Sentebale. a charity that was doing just fine before she showed up. Was doing just fine before she showed up. And then once she started moving things around, that's what set off the alarms. And one of the things that I would love to see picked apart is this idea that there are some 500 members of Sentebale that have been arguing her side and trying to defend her to their. Actually, she said 500 staff and their families, if I'm correct, or was it volunteer? Whatever the case may be, 500 people and their families have been desperately trying to defend her. In what universe? In what universe? Harry's charity chair hits back with claim Prince was bullying at scale. Bullying at scale. If you want to say that the Sussex squad has their backs up, then say that. If you want to say the Sussex squad, a group of people who don't know each other, who don't live in the same place, there are no leaders. If you want to say the Sussex squad, as they have been known, we have been known, have been coming for you, have been dragging you all over social media, then say that. But don't pull Harry, and whatever you do, don't pull Meghan into it. You ain't got to pull Meghan into it. As a matter of fact, by pulling Meghan into it, history would say that you're just making a bad situation worse. You're really making a bad situation worse. Harry Netflix demand wrecked charity event. Wrecked a charity event? Boss an explosive attack on Prince as she alleges he caused costs to soar. I tell you what, if there was any costs, add-ons to this event, there were several people on that stage who could have easily have opened up their checkbook. I don't believe that there was any cost accrued. I believe that there was just someone who is a bit of a control freak, someone who has basked in the role of the chairperson, who has been given an expense account, frequent flyer miles, and so on, who has, saw herself being kicked out of the nest, being pushed out of the nest. The free ride was over. And because she has no other options, because she's broke, because other places she has supposedly rescued are in debt or bankrupt, she didn't want to let this go. It was a great free ride. She didn't want to let it go. The access that she gained by invoking the name Sentebale, Prince Harry, Prince Say-So, the clout that gave her. I wouldn't even know this person but for Prince Harry. Lex says the Sussex squad has raised more for Sentebale than she has. Cheers. Touche. Here, here. Exactly. You make an excellent point. In her tenure, not a lot happened, and it shows. As a matter of fact, the Sussex squad probably made her look good, right? And here's the thing, you guys. I do believe that during that period when money was being raised, that there may have been a few people in the squad that has been in contact with her. And of course, she seems like the type, if there's some money coming from somewhere, she wants to know how much and how much more can you send us, even if it wasn't a charity. Um, there's going to be more to come out. I promise you guys, there's going to be more. She has written a check that her behind cannot cash. Her mouth has written a check that her behind cannot cash. She has gone on television. She has slandered Harry and Meghan, the charity, other the trustees that stepped down. She even came gunning for that old lady. She even went after the old lady. She all but said that the old lady had been around too long. She was there when I got there. I left. I come back, and she's still there. What of it? What of it? The only person who did not belong there, as evident by where we are right now, is Sophie. Sophie is the only one that does not belong there. Baron, we're looking for logic where there's none. Exactly. That's a good point. Thank you very much for the super chat. Okay, I'm going to continue. So, who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought that there would be a day when Serena Williams, a hero, Serena Williams, a hero to so many people, would be known as Meghan's celebrity friend? That thing she said about Meghan inviting her celebrity friend. Oh, I mean, it's just so much there. It's just so much. I just don't believe that caught her off guard. I don't believe that was a surprise. And she all but implied that Serena Williams was up on the stage. Now, she didn't say that, but she kind of set it up in that way, as though she invited people and suddenly the stage was too crowded and the choreography. And I'm just like, the choreography? Was this Dancing with the Stars, or was this a polo match? What choreography? I don't know what you're referring to. I don't know. I'm not picking up what you're putting down, the choreography. So you guys, the best thing to do is to just go step by step, and let's dissect this. We must. I know we must. Oh gosh. Let me see here. That is the only logical thing to do. So
we've also interviewed a former trustee, Dr. Kalelo Leratoli, who denies many of her claims. And you can see that interview during the day on Sky News and online via our website or app. But here now is our interview with Sophie Chandauka. Sophie, and thank you for talking to us. Sophie, you and I have known each other for many years, particularly working on diversity in corporate leadership, but I've never had anything to do with your work with Prince Harry. So let's just start with the origins of Sentebale. What was the point? What was the aim of setting it up?
Well, first of all, thank you.
Oh my God. This poser is appearing on Sky News with her dear friend, Trevor Phillips. And she's going to explain to Trevor Phillips the purpose for Sentebale. She's going to explain that. And I tell you, when I say she did not put more words, not a single extra anything in there, she got straight to it and got away from it as fast as she could.
So much, Trevor, for having us here on behalf of the entire Sentebale organization, 540 strong. This is an opportunity for us to just...
There goes that number, 540 strong. 540 strong. Now, let me just put a pin in that one. That is to make sure that you understand that this is 540 people versus Prince Harry. That's the implication, that there are 540 people who see things exactly the same as she. Okay, did you pick up all that? 540. That language was quite deliberate. Quite deliberate. Such is the skills that she learned from a lifetime of being an absolute weasel. An absolute weasel and opportunist.
Set the record straight and also talk about the future of Sentebale. But where did it begin? Sentebale started as a very urgent response to the urgent need for those who were impacted by HIV and AIDS in Lesotho to be taken care of. Prince Harry and Princess thought that they were uniquely placed to respond to the need.
How condescending. Prince Harry and Princess thought they were uniquely placed. Thought that they were uniquely placed. How condescending. So let's just tear this apart. This means that they were unqualified to help people. They were unqualified to raise money and find professionals, to find people from the community to reach out and help others. They were unqualified. They thought that they were uniquely placed. How condescending. She thought she was uniquely placed.
Of orphans and vulnerable children, and this was in 2006. Lesotho is a very small country that's within South Africa itself. But as you roll on to 2024, the issues in Southern Africa are actually quite different. HIV and AIDS is no longer a death sentence. And so our organization is really looking at those other elements in the ecosystem that affect the health and well-being of young people. And so at Sentebale, we're focused on health, on wealth, and on climate resilience.
Health and wealth and climate resilience. Now, she spoke about the wealth thing when she and Harry were together back in, what was it, September? She spoke about that then, which that went, I don't think I even paid attention to her at that point. For me, it's all about Harry. So she wants them to move away from the origins of it because, listen, there are still people that are infected with HIV, and without education, without the medication, they can go on to infect the next person and the next person. And they may suffer health issues totally oblivious to the fact that they have HIV and AIDS. And so there is a lot of actually, as a matter of fact, it just only demonstrates that charities like Sentebale has been incredibly successful in mitigating the effects of HIV and AIDS and preventing new cases of HIV and AIDS. And yeah, you can be very blasé and say that this is no longer a death sentence. I don't think anybody would want to have it if they didn't have to. I don't think anybody would object to making sure that the community is educated. I mean, there are medications that can keep you at undetectable for the disease. And I would say it's probably a good idea if that is available to make sure that you stay the course. You stay the course. You don't go to climate change. What does climate change have to do with the original purpose, the remit, the foundation of Sentebale? That is just, she's making it, at least she wants this charity to be this big global cause in her name. She wants to reimagine it, remake it in her own image, which is probably why the trustees that left were the ones that she accused of being around too long. You know, Enron was a very successful company until a bunch of, what was it, hedge fund people or whoever those people are that buy a company, bankrupt it, they get their golden parachutes and they leave. Is that what this is? You get the big payday, and then when the coast is clear, you just take off? Because there are many people that go into that's what happened to Joann's Fabric. Joann's Fabric was going to open 60 new stores until some outsiders came in, and look at what happened. Look at what happened. Or what about the retail store in Canada? I forget the name of it. Been around all these years, and someone from the U.S. invested in the store, and then eventually turned them from this big chain of property owners. First, they sold the property, and they became renters. Anyway, this I think that they said it's like 300 years old or something like that. They're going out of business. This happens in charities all the time, where people want to take over a charity, where people see that there is some useful component to elevate their prestige, to meet the right people. And dare I say, don't even get me started on the money. Don't even get me started on the money. I don't know that anything has come up missing, so I'm not going to make that accusation. But where there's money involved, that's all I'll say. Where there's money involved, $600,000 for consultants so that you can eventually raise more money that never materialized. That's a bit suspect. That's a reason to start making wild accusations about the board of trustees, at least one of the founding patrons, and especially if you're a slick lawyer who knows how to work the system, who knows how to exploit the system. Let's see, Lorraine Esmeralda A. Thomas, Harry's and the board's mistake was to put that woman as chair. She seems to have a long-term mission to take over that charity. Climate change is Willie's stuff, which does make it that much more suspicious, doesn't it? That makes it that much more suspicious, as though Willie's stuff somehow is going to be influenced by, or should I say, Harry's charity is going to be influenced by Willie's stuff. Exactly. That's what makes it highly suspicious. Highly suspicious. That's why I say, is she a plant? Is she a plant? Has she been having conversations? Who has she been talking to? How did we get here all of a sudden? That's the question. Thank you so much for your super chat. Something is kind of rotten, I think.
Of young people.
Something is rotten here. Okay. Wait, where's my sound at?
Quite a big outfit. It's a multi-million-dollar outfit, I think. The board.
Oh, sorry about that, you guys. Okay, this is acting weird. Let me see. Oh, you know what? My battery. I'm sorry about that. Let me plug in here. That's what the issue is. The battery. Okay. That should heal it. There we go.
You were on the board for 6 years, and you've been more on board more recently. Sophie, let me start with you. When you came back as chair in 2023, what did you think was going wrong?
Now, I'm going to answer this very frankly, but I just want to say normally I wouldn't want to discuss family business in this way in an open forum. But here we are, and I'll do my best to be frank in my disclosure. So when I arrived in July in 2023, of course, the first thing you do is you open the annual report, you look at the board minutes to see what it is that's going on in the organization. When you look at the I did a 7-year historical review of the financials, looking at our costs and looking at our revenue, so income. It was pretty obvious to me that we had lost quite a number of corporate sponsors. We'd lost some families, and we'd lost individuals who were donating to the organization. And there was quite a significant correlation between the time the organization started to see a departure of sort of major organizations and Prince Harry's departure from the UK itself. When you look at the board minutes, though, there is no discussion about what's happening with respect to some of our most significant funders. And then when you discuss with the senior executive team and ask why there isn't a conversation about this, the answer is it's really difficult to have this conversation because the instruction was it's an uncomfortable conversation to have with Prince Harry in the room.
So the central point here is when you look at the risk register of the...
I have to ask the question, how often is Harry in the room? How often is Harry in the room? Because didn't they leave 5 years ago? Is she saying like a Zoom chat? How often is Harry in the room? How often is she and Harry in the same place? And isn't it possible that as chair, you develop relations with the trustees where you can have an honest heart-to-heart conversation? She makes it seem as though all business is conducted in front of Harry. Nothing happens. Harry is a trustee, and I'm not a trustee. Harry is a patron, a founding patron. Now, does that mean that they must conduct business in front of him? I don't. I don't. I don't get that. I don't get that. If he is a founding patron, just like she said that the other guy, the other trustee, the gentleman from Africa who spoke out and said that he's never seen any type of adversarial relationship and such. If he's not at every meeting, according to her, the few meetings he attended, if he's not at all of these meetings, right? If he's not there all the time, then that means that absent a trustee, you're still able to conduct business with the remaining trustees. That's what it sounds like to me. And that also should mean that you should be able to call a meeting as the chair and discuss business outside of Harry's presence. When are these? I'm trying to understand, because it seems to me that we pretty much know when Harry is in the UK. We know when he's traveled abroad and what have you. Are these meetings taking place in the US? Do they come to Montecito? What is the story? Because this is one of those things where you can say whatever you want to say. And for the unfortunate accused individual, in this case, Prince Harry, it is very difficult to disprove a negative, especially when you have a very hostile media that wants nothing more than scandal to speak of from day after day. So for the time being, that really does put her in the driver's seat, because she is helping them to make revenue with her tales of abuse of power and such. So I'm just going to say she won the day. She won the day. I don't know what's going to happen for her tomorrow. I don't think it's going to go too well for her. But as far as Sunday is concerned, Saturday evening, Sunday, she won the day. She was able to sit there uninterrupted in the presence of a friend and a board member trustee that she appointed, who is loyal to William. She was able to sit there and say everything she wanted to say, and there was very little pushback, if any, very little pushback. Let's see. Renee Demonia says, Sister Hammerhead and Parrotfish Mouth. I know the parrotfish. Day is coming fast. Well, thank you so much for reminding us of that, and thank you so much for being a member and for the super chat. I didn't see that one coming. Okay. Let me continue.
And funding. Number one risk is
Right.
that's Duke of Sussex.
Yes,
Is that your opinion, or
it is. It is.
Ian? Is that what you saw?
Yes, I mean, I think there's something underlying that as well, which is quite interesting. So if you look at how boards of trustees should work, where the public gets their comfort from is that they live in a rules-based governance framework, which in this case is regulated by the Charity Commission. And you're expecting the board to act independently, to support the charitable objects and support the interests of the organisation as a whole. If you get some trustees or a part of the board which is serving an external party, that can create a number of difficulties, and it can create dysfunctionality. Because if they are serving the external party over and above the interests of the charity as a whole, you can get into a muddle.
To be absolutely clear here, you're saying, Sophie, number one, that what you discovered was essentially donors were walking because of the prince's reputation.
Yes.
Let me put to you what some of the...
Okay, first of all, what the hell did he just say? That you can get into a muddle, that you can, if an outside party, he was very careful to say that if this, if that, you can this, you can that. Did you hear how careful that was? How carefully placed that word salad was? And even she doesn't know what he's talking about, but it's not about her, so she's happy. But you can find yourself in a bit of a muddle. He's a white man, a financier. He has a suit and a tie on. And dare I say, I hope I don't offend anybody by saying this, but he has an English accent. And to an American audience, God knows, whenever we hear an English accent, especially somebody very posh like that, for some reason, we always think that that person is brilliant. We always depict them in movies as that person being brilliant. So he's a very carefully placed asset in this conversation, right? As a matter of fact, even to the English audience, the fact that he's so erudite and posh means that he must be right, because, you know, he speaks at a certain level that means that he's right. He must be right. He must know what he's speaking of. And of course, the very carefully placed words that she used. And of course, she has a storyline. Did not take her long. I don't know how long this has been planned, but she was able to put together a storyline. That's why it's so important to invoke the Netflix and the Netflix cameras, because she knows that that's a trigger for anyone who's anti-Sussex. That would be something that will definitely create or generate newspaper articles. Okay, so the whole Netflix thing. So Netflix, Meghan leaving the UK, implying that Harry's life was so chaotic from the time, and you know, that by itself, leaving the UK, that is definitely there to appeal to the derangers and to the haters. That is very carefully placed. This was very polished. Yeah, this was very polished. I'm going to tell you, it is very what is the word I'm looking for? Diabolical. It is very diabolical. If you don't know the truth, if all you had to follow was what she's throwing out there, then you would assume that Harry was just this raging beast of an individual that does nothing but bully people around, and he's trying and of course, well, let's just continue. Let's just continue.
Of the board had said about essentially these allegations. Sky News spoke to Dr. Kalele Leratoli early on this week, and she said, I've been in all the meetings, conduct of the board has been one of respect for each other. All of this came as a shock for me.
She said, was it she said or he said? I thought that was a gentleman that said those things.
What exactly is the difference then?
Okay, I'll give my
Dr. Laratoli doesn't recognise the picture Dr. Laratoli doesn't recognise the picture you're painting.
Yeah, so I'll answer that question in two parts, and Ian, it'll be good to get your perspective as well. I'll be very direct with respect to Dr. Kelly. He had the worst attendance record. And even when he was in the meetings, he didn't actually contribute that much. So I'm not surprised that he didn't know much of what was going on in the organization.
To be fair, I mean, he's not here to answer for himself.
Yes.
But what he's saying is that when he was in the meetings, there was no conflict. Everything was pretty straightforward. And he can't see the allegations that you're making about poor governance in his experience. He doesn't recognise them.
I think, as a matter of fact, I mean, he wasn't in all the meetings. And if you have irregular attendance, then you're not going to see the trend over a long time.
So here is here's the thing to remember. There were meetings definitely where Dr. Kelly was not present, and there was belligerence, and there was an insistence on raising of topics that were not even on the agenda of the day. An example might be Prince Harry decides on a specific occasion that he wants to appoint an individual to the board with immediate effect without having talked to me. It's not on the agenda. And somehow everybody's just supposed to tolerate that.
He being here, Prince Harry.
Yes.
So Prince Harry comes into the meeting and says, I want to appoint somebody as CEO.
And as a board member, as a trustee with immediate effect, his proxy on the board says, yes, I second that motion. The third proxy on the board says, welcome to the board, Brian. And everybody's shocked and quiet. But this is what happens when the prince is in the room and no one has the courage to speak.
Well, speaking of not having the courage to speak, another trustee, Baroness Chalker of Wallasey, served as a trustee for 20 years, described you as, I'm quoting here, almost dictatorial.
Change is hard for some people. Let me just put it that way. I think what we had here was a board that had overstayed by even Charity Commission guidance. Most of the members of the board, when I came back in July of 2023, had been on the board when I left. This is not how a properly run organization should work. You're not supposed to be on a board for past 9 years. Most of these individuals were there for 5, 10, 15, now 19 years. And so what you have is entrenchment. And there's a reason why you have term limits, because people begin to mark their own homework, and turkeys don't vote for Christmas. And so here I come talking about transformation and innovation and fresh ideas. What do you think the response might be?
What you seem to be, let's deal with the elephant in the room here. Mm-hmm. Is this characteristic, this way of doing things, do you think something to do with the fact that this was Prince Harry's charity, and the people, as you say, there are people on it who were in some way beholden to him? Is that the point you're making here?
I think there's something very important about that, because when the charity was set up, it was structured in a certain way. So he was this was a young Harry, a youthful Harry that we were seeing.
They have rehearsed. They have come up with a storyline. This was young Harry, who was too incompetent to know anything about a charity. So he went and got a bunch of old friends, a bunch of old lackeys, and put them in charge of it. And they were so afraid of him. They were so in awe of him. They were so intimidated by him that they just stepped aside every time, like they were living in constant fear of Harry. This is voluntary. All these people are working in a voluntary capacity, including the chairperson. So if you're not going to take food out of my mouth, why would I be afraid of you? If you're not going to cause me to lose my home, why would I be afraid of you? I can't make my car payments because of you. Yeah, I'd be kind of afraid. But if you ain't going to go upside my head, what would I be afraid of? Why would I be afraid of Harry of all people? Harry. And you know, this reads just like Meghan. Every place you go, you have been considered an absolute treasure. An absolute treasure. Until, well, let's see, in this case, until he left the UK, right? And then when he left the UK, his life was in turmoil. So he was never the same again. I guess that's the story. That's part of it. That's part of it. She has so many layers that she has conceived as the real problem.
And his work for Sentebale earned him the respect and admiration of nations, including this nation, and also the people of Lesotho.
And
that is,
Botswana.
yeah, and that is remembered. And so it's understandable that at the beginning he would want to have some trustees around him to create some structure and guide him and all of that. But the interesting thing is that in 20 years, the development world has moved on. That structure will not attract the sort of large institutional funding which is needed to fulfill the ambition of the organization. People will be worried about where is the directing mind? Is it the board of the trust of the charity, or is it the patron? And that, from a governance perspective, is the central issue.
You know what's so stupid about that? You know what's so stupid about that? Shouldn't it be the chairperson? Shouldn't it be the chairperson that you consider the chief fundraiser, the chief operating officer? It's the chairperson, not the members of the board, not the trustees. The trustees are not the go-getters and the fundraisers. Now, you could look to the patron. If the patrons have contributed money in the past, they will contribute money again. But isn't it the job of phony Dr. Sophie to raise money? Isn't she the one that's supposed to do that with her honorary doctor's degree? I mean, there's an emergency. You need funding. Is there an honorary doctor in the house? Oh my God, there's an emergency. We need money. Is there an honorary doctor in the house? You're on a cross-Atlantic flight. Somebody collapsed. Is there an honorary doctor in the house? Someone's having a complete mental breakdown. Is there an honorary doctor in the house? Somebody goes out to dinner and they send the steak back. What's wrong with it? Well, they said that they asked for it well done. And the chef says, the person that sent this back, do they have an honorary doctor's degree? I think they do. Okay, I'll make another one. Right? That's about how it goes. Is there an honorary doctor in the house? When you go to the beauty supply, do you get a discount if you're an honorary doctor? Can you park in front of a fire hydrant because you have honorary doctor license plates? Oh, wait a minute. They don't give honorary doctors a special license plate. You're not an MD. You're not a PhD. You're just honorary. She's a sly one. I have to say, she is as slick as they come. I mean, slick as hound crap. Slick.
Sophie, let's talk about where things, as you saw it, started to go wrong. One of the incidents was the fundraising, the Polo tournament, which is one of the ways in which Sentebale raised a lot of money. What happened?
We were so fortunate to have the opportunity to do a polo challenge in Miami last year in April. We had a very generous family that was happy for us to use their polo grounds at a material discount. And then about a month before the event was about to take place, Prince Harry called the team and said, "I'm doing a Netflix show and I would love to bring a camera."
At a material discount. At a material discount. So it was not free. It was not free. Just bear in mind that a family allowed us to, we had a family that was going to allow us to use their polo ground at a material discount. So it was not free. They did not just let you use it. You had to pay for it. Now, see, there are no figures to say that there was some type of cost overrun because of the Netflix. And dare I say that if there was a price to be paid, it's an Archwell production, right? Are you trying to say Archwell cost the charity, Harry cost the charity money because they had to move to another venue? Are you saying that Netflix, with all of their resources, would allow a charity to take the hit for a cost overrun, right? The world's largest streamer, that they would take the hit for a cost overrun? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I just don't.
So that I can include some footage in this show. And so the team called me and tell me, "Oh, Prince Harry's made this request, so we're doing the things." I said, "You can't be doing the things without seeking consent from the property owners, the sponsors, all the guests. Nobody signed up into being..."
Harry, who was so careful to speak to the First Nation people, do you guys understand that every step along the way for the Vancouver Whistler, the First Nation, Indigenous, Canadian tribes, the First Nation tribes, they were in on it every step of the way? What are the chances that Harry would just be so lackadaisical about the idea of just pushing in there with his cameras, demanding on? Why would he be so careful with every group, every government, every agency, every company, every funder, raiser, everyone along the way? Why would he be so careful with them and show a complete lack of respect for Sentebale? Why would he do that? Scotty's little soldiers. Has Harry been running roughshod over them too? Scotty's little soldiers who begged Harry, "We want to keep you as our patron." He's so problematic that they please, "We want to keep you as our patron." And in spite of all of the things going on in Harry's personal life, "We want to keep you as our patron." Or how about Wellchild? How about Wellchild? He's so problematic that they said, "You know what? If it's all the same to you, Your Majesty the Queen, we'd like to keep Prince Harry as our patron." Harry has gone on to Wellchild Scotty's Little Soldiers, and so many other events without Meghan because they have children at home. I'm sure he'd love for her to be there, but they can't always travel together. You see, they always leave out the part about these are parents of two darling children that require their parents' presence. Harry took a maternity leave right along with Meghan when Lily was born. This is not a good fit. This does not describe Harry's character. These are Kensington Palace talking points. So I'm going to say it again. For those of you who say, why do we have to talk about Kitty? Why do we have to talk about Willie? Because it's the only thing that keeps me sane. That's why. Dragging them takes all the pressure off. I feel so much better having done so. And if that is not of your taste, you can just switch it off and you don't even have to ever come back because there's always an excellent chance that I'm going to do that. Okay? It's what helps me. And I'm thinking for some people here, me helping me helps you. Okay? You don't always have to know exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing, but there's a reason for it. And not everything has to satisfy you, the individual. This is why this is happening right here, because she wanted things a certain way. We can't always do that. And because she wanted things a certain way, she's just disrupted everything. Sometimes you have to trust the process. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes you have to trust the process. But there's more than one content creator. There's more than one Sussex Squad friendly space. I even named them for you. Let's continue.
On a Netflix show. And so we have this discussion about the need to talk to everybody. We come up with draft agreements. And of course, the venue owner says this is now a commercial undertaking. So here are my terms. We couldn't afford it. So now we lost the venue. So we went to another venue, and we were lucky enough that through Prince Harry's connections, actually, and a friend of his, there was another family that was.
We couldn't afford it. Maybe they didn't want to negotiate with you. Maybe they didn't want to negotiate with you. They wanted to talk to Harry. Harry is the one who knows the Polo world. The Polo world knows Prince Harry. Do you think, let me ask y'all a question. Do you think that if Nacho Figueres, if Nacho's name is brought up, even if he's not on the horse, if Nacho's name is brought up, do you think that there's going to be a huge inconvenience about making some accommodations for a polo match? Just knowing that Nacho, Venus, Harry, Meghan, knowing all these people are going to be there, which of course is what happens when there's a polo game. It attracts all kind of highbrow people. It attracts the rich and famous. I just don't know that I buy this story about this being such a terrible inconvenience to whoever. Okay, so you want more money, we'll go someplace else. And she just said, because of Harry, they were able to find someplace. Is it because you were left out of it? Is it because you were not necessary to the arrangements that you're feeling so spiteful? We do what we can do. You know the law. you're manipulating the law as we speak, right? You know all the little slick ways in and out of things. You know the palace talking points. So you're doing what you do good. Harry knows Polo. Polo knows Harry. Harry's brother, Nacho, is the international face of Ralph Lauren. Everybody's happy but you. You wore your tightest white dress. You went and got your some cornrows and everything, and it was like you were invisible. You were non-essential. You didn't even have to show up. It wouldn't have made any difference. None. Because anybody who has something to talk about raising money, they don't want to talk to you. They want to talk to Harry. They don't want to talk to you. You ain't got the juice, girl. You ain't got the juice. They want Harry, Meghan, Nacho, Venus. They don't want you.
Prepared to host. The show went on, but there was a lot of disruption, right? A lot of people were unhappy because we'd worked on this for months. On the actual day, we had Prince Harry, which is always wonderful. The Duchess decided to attend, but she told us she wasn't attending. And she brought a friend, a very famous friend. So you can imagine all of the activity that goes with these additional amazing people. We're excited about it. We would have been really excited had we known ahead of time, but we didn't. And so the choreography went badly on stage because we had too many people on stage. The international press captured this, and there was a lot of talk about the Duchess and the choreography on stage and whether she should have been there and her treatment of me. Prince Harry asked me to issue some sort of a statement in support of the Duchess, and I said I wouldn't. Not because I didn't care about the Duchess, but because I knew what would happen if I did so, number one. And number two, because we cannot be an extension of the Sussex.
What would have happened if you had simply just said, there's nothing wrong with what's happened, what the Duchess did?
Well, the Duchess has told Dr. Sophie Chandauka to make a press release about her, and then she'll get even worse trolling. That's what would have happened.
You said that Prince Harry wanted to, I'm quoting it.
The Duchess had never even met you before that day in all likelihood. The Duchess probably didn't even remember your name. I'm just kidding. Y'all know Meghan remembers everybody's name. Meghan writes letters and such. This is so unhinged, but yet very, very calculating. And it just reeks of Kensington Palace. It reeks of Kensington Palace. It really does. I tell you, I've seen some sly little hustlers in my day, but this one here takes the case. Just as sly as can be. Just as slick and sly. She went and brought her handler with her. For someone who wants to decolonize, not only are you sitting up there, honorary Dr. Sophie Chandauka, MBE, member of the British Empire. Member of the British Empire. You're so proud and so African proud, Black. You're so proud of that. You accept something that invokes the transatlantic slave trade, the East India Company, and so on and so forth. Right? This is what empire looks like. And as far as I know, they still have not changed this. They have not changed this. The only change that they made, instead of calling it Empire Day. They call it Commonwealth Day. The Commonwealth. They don't say the quiet part out loud. Empire. They there? See how they have this angel? Is it St. George or St. Michael? It depends on who you ask. I guess in the Anglican Church, that is St. George, bringing civilization, religion to communities that already have civilization. They already have religion. The only thing they really introduced was swords and chains, firearms. Yeah. And this is what she's so proud of. MBE, member of the British Empire. That's what she's proud of. And she's still using MBE. But you guys did notice that when she was introduced, he didn't refer to her as doctor. Did you guys notice that? That he didn't call her doctor? I did. He did not refer to her as doctor. I don't know why, but he just didn't.
Forced the failure of the charity. Why on earth would he want a charity he founded in memory of his mother to fail? I mean, that's he would have some justification for feeling hurt at allegation.
To be honest, it's a last resort. Really, what Prince Harry wanted to do was to eject me from the organization, and this went on for months.
So he she's not saying yes or no that he wants to force the failure. She's saying as a last resort, he wanted to eject me from my unpaid position. He wanted to eject me from my unpaid position, although it was the board of trustees that seemed to have been troubled by her actions or lack thereof.
It went on for months through bullying, harassment. I have documentation. There were board meetings where members of the executive team and external strategic advisors were sending me messages saying, should I interrupt? Should I stop this? Oh my gosh, this is so bad. In fact, our strategic advisor.
There were members of the board. Didn't they all just quit because you would not? And what you're calling documentation, we're still waiting to see documentation from the High Court or the commission, rather. We're still waiting to see documentation from that. As far as we know, that does not exist. No one can confirm it. No one has seen it. No one has seen any court records, has seen any anything from the commission or whatever. We have not seen it. So put up or shut up. I mean, you're saying all of this. Show us where you were being bullied. Because bullying is very subject to interpretation. The fact that someone asked you, an educated Black woman, to step down. So there is misogynoir, which is the same as saying racism, right? Because misogyny, because you're a woman, misogynoir, because that is someone being aggressive and impolite or whatever to a woman of color, a Black woman. So there's that. Yeah, harassment. Who harassed you, girl? Who harassed you? And you have documentation. You may have documentation saying that people were asking you to leave, and maybe you consider that harassment because you want to stay. But you need to show us. You need to show us. You had your opportunity right here. Just share that with us.
Fundraising, then sent me a message saying she wouldn't want to ever attend any more board meetings or bring colleagues because of the treatment. When that failed, Prince Harry started to brief, and his team, sponsors that I'd been speaking to against me and the charity, because that is a sure way of getting me out if it's seen as though I'm not being successful in my fundraising effort.
So you're not being successful, and you make the accusation. And so far, that's all it is an accusation. It sounds like paranoia to me. You're speaking against me. You're putting a spell on me. You're putting bad juju on me. Yeah, you're using witchcraft. You're turning people against me. People are against you. Anybody who ever met you, I would imagine.
I obviously have to put this to both of you.
Yeah.
What you're essentially saying is that the Duke of Sussex is guilty of harassment and bullying and improper conduct in the governance of a church.
Now, listen carefully. Does she ever answer the question directly?
Well, let me put it to you this way. I'm going to give you a really good example.
That's no. That is no. She does not answer the question directly. She gives an example, but she doesn't say yes or no. So it is an anonymous, unseen force that is bullying and harassing her. Either for Harry, by Harry, or it is Harry. But whatever it is the unseen force. It is a collective that is bullying and harassing her.
The reason I'm here, Trevor, is because at some point on Tuesday, Prince Harry authorized the release of a damaging piece of news to the outside world without informing me, or my country directors, or my executive director. And can you imagine what that attack has done for me, on me, and the 540 individuals in the Sentebale organizations and their family? That is an example.
540 members and their family. And what information? Because if you are on social media, if you have anything in your name, it's not so difficult to put two and two together. So he unleashed who? Who? Because the GB News, they're not friendly to Harry. None of these people are friendly to Harry. If Harry or anybody representing Harry had gone to the press, anybody, wouldn't that cause more problems than it solves? That doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. Harry, who has almost brought the Rupert Murdoch's organization to his knees to apologize for their misdeeds and won all that money, how does that make sense? Has Harry changed so much? Has he? Does he not have agency anymore? I don't know how that fits. You'd really have to have a very vivid imagination to make that work. Lex says, Harry's say so and the trustees resigned March 10th. So how was she blindsided? It only came to light last week. However, Harry's joint statement, Harry and Cecil's joint statement is harassment. So their joint statement saying that they resigned in solidarity to the board of trustees that resigned because they asked you to step down from a voluntary, unpaid position and you refused. She's angry. She's bitter. She's at the end of the road. She really has no place else to go. And she accused Harry of playing the victim card, which is exactly what she's doing right now, playing the victim. Thank you so much, Legs.
Of harassment and bullying at scale. And so if the world didn't want to believe that there's such a thing as bullying, this unleashing of the Sussex machine on me and the 540 employees at Sentebale who received this and have had to defend it.
By the way, when you say the Sussex machine, what are you talking about?
The PR machine that supports Prince Harry's efforts. The only way we discovered of his decision was through the Sussex machine activating.
The only way that we discovered his decision is when the Sussex machine activated. Do you hear the voice? The only way we discovered his decision. The only way that we discovered his decision is when the Sussex PR machine activated. So let me picture this. Harry went down in the basement and he pushed the button and all kind of stuff started opening up. And there was this command center that looks like the deck of the Starship Enterprise. And Harry sits down in a chair just like Captain Kirk. And he calls over to I don't know. I guess well, let me see who would be close enough to him to help do this. Oh yeah, he calls over to his one of his favorite bodyguards. Deploy the Sussex PR machine. Deploying the Sussex PR machine. Are you serious? This woman needs help. She should be in a padded cell somewhere. She's delusional. The Sussex PR machine. And the only way we knew that he activated the Sussex PR machine.
Newspapers.
You were not told that.
At scale. And so if the world didn't want to believe that there's such a thing as bullying, this unleashing of the Sussex machine on me and the 540 employees at Sentebale who received this and have had to defend it.
By the way, when you say the Sussex machine, what are you talking about?
The PR machine that supports Prince Harry's efforts. The only way we discovered of his decision was through the Sussex machine activating newspapers.
You were not told that he planned and the Princessa planned to resign.
We were informed that they have the intention to withdraw if I went to the High Court and succeeded.
All right, well, look.
Okay, did you go to the High Court and succeed? Did you go to the High Court and succeeded? We were told that they would if we went to the High Court and succeeded. I don't know that I've seen any type of anything from the High Court. You guys, I'm going to give credit to Meredith Constance. Media literacy. They really should teach it in school. They really should teach it in school. Because of stuff like this. Analytical thinking, right? Thought application, you name it. Okay, I'm sorry. I was just looking at a little news clip Oh boy, CBS News is covering it. And the only way that I knew that he unleashed the Sussex PR machine to the newspapers. I love the sly voice that she used, the way that she figured things out. I mean, I almost, I had to look up and make sure that wasn't Eartha Kitt. I almost thought that was Eartha Kitt. I literally had to look up and make sure that was not Eartha Kitt. It almost sounds like an Eartha Kitt song. Yep. His PR machine.
There have been accusations against you also.
Yes.
As I said, Baroness Chilka said that you were dictatorial. But on the polo match, which we've talked about, the accusation is that the financial backers were upset by your conduct, and also that you hired expensive consultants without board approval.
Well, that's just not true. Ian is witness.
Well, I mean, another source from who...
How is Ian a witness if Ian was not there? How is Ian, your handler, how was Ian a witness? Was Ian there? How is Ian a witness? I've still been trying to wrap my brain around this. How, in the name of God, is Ian a witness? When did Ian arrive to the board? And how is Ian a witness? And who the hell is Brian? Who is Brian? Who's Brian? Because she said Brian, and I don't know who Brian is. God, I hope she's watching Royal Sussex. So, if they resigned March the 10th, he could not have been there to know, unless she just opened up all the books to Brian, right? And I'm not saying that's wrong, but Lord, I would say there's so much to unpack here, but it really is cut and dry. It really is cut and dry. It was a hostile takeover in all likelihood. She didn't want to leave. They asked her to go, and then she got very litigious, allegedly, when things were not going her way. And then suddenly, Prince Harry unleashed the PR machine to the newspaper. He activated, and that is how we found out about the PR machine. Oh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Eartha Kitt. Let's see, her Elvira. Her Elvira wig was too tight. Clearly it was. Or she was trying to be cute and had them braids snatched too tight when she went to the polo game. But thank you very much for the super chat.
Was a trustee apparently, told a national newspaper that the trustees were supportive of moving fundraising towards America. But you didn't do that, you, Sophie, and I'm quoting here from the Financial Times. Trustees tried to negotiate this privately, requested she consider her position due to their lack of trust and confidence in her as a leader. Isn't the problem here that it was you was the problem, not the prince?
It was me who was the problem because I put a whistleblower complaint about the bullying, the harassment, and the misogyny, and Prince Harry interfered in the investigation of that. And the senior independent director who should have taken care of it was the very same person who then delivered the news to me that I was going to be removed by the board. So it's a cover-up, and the prince is involved.
You talked about misogyny. Let's be frank. Are you saying that the misogyny stems from Prince Harry himself and his associates?
I would actually say my experience is Prince Harry himself. Fantastic, actually. We had a great relationship. But there are some individuals on the board who, quite frankly, did not treat me in the way that they would have treated the prior chair, right? And completely disrupted my meetings because they thought that they could get away with mistreating a woman. And all the women who attended these meetings felt it.
There are many more things to talk about here, but
all the women that attended these meetings felt it. Or were you just incompetent and paranoid? You were not capable of doing a satisfactory job. You were in a position where you were way over your head, and you're just not a likable person. Because without any warning, all of a sudden, you start finding things that are not there. And then you start using that very, oh, I got your voice, where you just kind of become aware of things that do not exist. Is that what it is? They got tired of listening to that? They asked you about the $600,000 consulting fee. Your only answer is, that's not true. You got all these details about everything else, but when they get to, the point where they start talking cash, like $600,000, then all of a sudden, that's not true. Is that what you told the board? That's not true. Nothing else. That's not true. That's just not true. That's a version of fake news. Fake news. That's just not true. I wish in my life that I could have gotten away with things like that. Like if I'm not doing a good job and someone says, you're just not doing a good job. And that's not true. And I just leave it. Talk about a pregnant pause. Talk about a pregnant pause. That's just not true. And then you just don't say anything else. And then everybody on the board look at each other and be like, yeah, we need to let her go. We need to let her go. And maybe if we let her out of here early enough, she can get that wig back to the beauty supply where she bought it from. Yeah, let's help out and get out of here early enough so she can get that monstrous wig back to the beauty supply. Leg says she wanted that Sussex squad money, Prince Harry donors, etc. Evil. That's a good way to put it. That is a good way to put it. She has a lot of moxie, as they say. More nerves than a brass ass monkey. Lots of nerves, right? Crazy as a road lizard. There's all kind of old sayings. Crazy as a road lizard. Joan Garcia says, let me see here, Baron, the beat goes on. We must tune into the next episode of this soap opera. Yes, we have to think of a good name for this soap opera. Let me see. Instead of One Life to Live, we'll have to call it, let me see. Wait, no. Okay, wait. All my children. Let me see. all my excuses, all my let me see. All of my paid consultants will continue in a moment. Yeah, you know how they used to say, all my children will continue in a moment. All my paid consultants will continue in a moment. Next time on All My Paid Consultants. Oh, thank you very much, Joan Garcia. But it really is her own little soap opera. I feel like that maybe we don't really exist anyplace else but inside of her head. You wonder, what if we're all like some AI program that like the Matrix? We're all just some kind of AI program in her head, that she is carrying us all around under that hot, uncomfortable wig she's wearing. Yeah. Under all that synthetic hair, she's like carrying us around in her thoughts. Perish the thought, huh?
Just ask you finally, does Sentebale have a future without the Duke of Sussex?
Absolutely. Sentebale has had a future. We must stop infantilizing Sentebale. Sentebale is 19 years old. Sentebale is here because of the people in Africa who do the work every single day. Prince Harry visited Africa for the first time in 5 years when I asked him to last year. Who do you think was running the show? During the pandemic, before the pandemic, and after the pandemic, Sentebale will live. Sentebale will live on because of the people.
Ian, Sophie, thank you very much.
Sentebale is because of Harry and Princeso. That's why Sentebale is. Don't forget that part, sweetie. Sentebale is as the lies turn. As the lies turn. Yeah, instead of as the world turns, or how about remember Ryan's Hope, the soap opera Ryan's Hope? Sophie's Hope will continue in a moment. Yeah, Sophie's Hope. Or how about instead of all my children, how about all Sophie's issues? Let me see, all Sophie's issues will continue in a moment. There you go. That's a good soap opera. Oh, I tell you, for a educated, strong Black woman, a very educated, strong Black woman, she definitely have let the side down. And the way she let the side down is she brought an old white man with her, right? She brought her old white man with her. And I guess that's just her colleague. I don't know. And she is still flaunting that MBE. She is still flaunting that MBE. It's a paradox, isn't it? It is a paradox. Why is all these things so important when you're trying to build a case against Prince Harry, the co-founder of Sentebale, right? You're trying to build a case against the co-founder of Sentebale, and there's one set of issues, but the big elephant that's in the room, the $600,000, the lack of involvement from and with the funding, the funders, the donors, right? The patrons. They don't like you. Not everybody is going to like you. Just because you have an honorary doctorate, just because you're qualified to send back a state, right? Just because you're qualified to show up and get your honorary degree, a degree that seemed to have been born out of the MBE and some other opportunities that she seized. Not all kin folks is skin folks, or not all skin folks is kin folks. That's a disturbed person right there. Very disturbed. They really, she needs an intervention. I really do believe she needs an intervention because she ain't wrapped too tight. She ain't wrapped too tight. And then there's a whole bunch of debt, in other places from other periods in her life. As a matter of fact, it has been implied that she was actually fleeing from one set of problems and another set of problems before she found Sentebale, the place where she intends to spend the rest of her life until something better comes along. She's an opportunist, make no mistake. And it gives me no pleasure in saying this. You know, with all of the stuff that African Americans have been through, with all of the stuff that Africans all over the world have been through, there's not too many places in the world that a person of African descent does not find prejudice, does not find bias. It seems to be, as I've said so many times, that's like the greatest export that has ever come out of the old British Empire. That's their greatest export, is racism. And she's using that to build a case. And make no mistake, the whole thing about the misogynoir, that implies racism. That they saw her as a Black woman, and for that reason she was targeted. But targeted by whom? Who targeted her for that reason and that reason alone? That they were just picking on her. Could it be that she really was not doing a good job? That she did not live up to all the hype that you see on that heavily padded resume? Huh? And it was reported there was an attempt to alter the Wikipedia. You know, the Wikipedia is in the public domain, so it is possible to request alterations. And so obviously somebody, not necessarily honorary degree Dr. Sophie, but somebody tried to change it. The part about a hostile takeover abruptly disappeared and then reappeared, they say. Because, as they say, art imitates life. Well, in this case, the old Wikipedia accounts imitates real life. What was in black and white on the Wikipedia page seems to have been nearly executed again with Sentebale. And as someone pointed out, was it you, Lex? Somebody pointed out that you don't see any photos of her with children. You don't see any photos of her with children because she don't care about them. She don't care about those kids. All she cares about is herself. She wants to make over Sentebale into wealth building, climate changing, and all that other kind of stuff that has nothing to do with the very tenets of Sentebale's purpose, and that is to help those affected by HIV/AIDS. She just clearly says it's no longer a death sentence. That doesn't mean that you stop. That doesn't mean that you start throwing money to the what do you call it? To those consultants, your consultant friends, if they are your friends, you must have found them somewhere. I wonder if there's not some professional connection or some past connection with this consultant firm. And 2023, the world is recovering from a global pandemic. And the best thing you could think of is let's spend some money on consultants so that they can help me figure out how to get some more money, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm in over my head. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to hire some consultants that better not be your friends, girl. They better not be your friends, because if we find out that those are your friends, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. Because, see, the thing about the soap opera is this. Today, the disturbed board chair, the disturbed, unreliable, in over her head chair of a charity, she gets to be the main character for today. But tomorrow, the prince that everybody loves is going to be totally absolved of any guilt or any of these accusations or charges, because people are going to keep looking. And even the press that seems to be so enamored with these made up tales of bullying and such, they are obliged to tell the other side of the story. And then you come back and you make them some more money by making up something else. And it's just going to go back and forth. And we're going to sit here just like we're watching a tennis match. Just like we're watching a tennis match. Our little heads going left and right because of you. So good luck with that one, because you're going to need it. You are going to need it, because the truth is going to come out and you will be discovered. You will be exposed if there's any inconsistency, like the way you glossed over that $600, $600,000. Yeah, you are going to be exposed. And especially, I cannot stress this enough. She really has poked the bear. And that bear is a Sussex squad, a group of people who don't know each other. But let me tell you, and I say this with so much pride. I say this with so much pride. There are so many professionals, lawyers, PhDs, doctors, real doctors. They got your number. They got your number. They got your number, lady. They got your number. Right? They got your number. And because of that, you're going to find yourself in deep doo-doo. I'm telling you, I listened to them earlier today. And one of them is a real doctor. These are some of the original squaddies They go back to the beginning. Do you remember when things first started getting really bad for Meghan? And all of these people on social media were wondering, what happened? What's going on? And all those ladies, the original squatties, they started talking to one another on social media. And the drumbeat got louder and louder. And especially think about this. She may be a Black woman, but she doesn't understand how African American women move. She don't understand how African American women move. And they do. They do. And that is where the problems will come from. That's where the problems is going to come from, because they're digging right now. They're digging right now. And there are people who have been in similar circles like Sophie. And they know how this works. They know how these things go. Women who have worked in not-for-profits and so on. And if there's something there, you think you got problems now. I hope that stuffy person sitting next to you there, I hope he can help you. It's going to be very difficult to find gainful employment when those people get through with you. See, she was trying to ignite this whole thing about race and such like that. I think that's what she was really trying to do. And it's going to backfire. Harry's not perfect, but he's earned a certain position all over this world. He's earned a position. He's in people's consciousness for the very good deeds that he's done in spite of himself. And people are not going to forget that. Just because of all of these emotionally charged words that you're using, all of this sly language and all of these curious sounds that you're making, that is not going to help you. You're having a drink at the Last Chance Saloon. And it's already in play. It's already in play. Whatever is there, I hope for you that you ain't got nothing to hide. I hope for you. See, Harry has been vetted. Harry has been vetted again and again and again. Harry don't have anything to hide. He has been vetted. That's why I'm not worried. I'm not worried. She doesn't have anything on Harry. She has opinions. She has ideas. She has some anger issues. But she ain't got nothing on him. You're the one that was pawing all over him, trying to get his attention, trying to be in his orbit. He wasn't coming after you. You need him. He was your meal ticket. That was your chance to come up sevens. Oh, I'm going to ride Harry's coattails. I'm going to ride this charity coattail. I'm going to change the mission of this charity, and I'm going to remake it in my own image. Whatever she says, you guys, don't worry. It's going to be exposed. It'd be different if she had something, but she don't have anything. That's why she's using all this loaded language, making all these contrived statements and such, because she don't have anything. And she's using that stuffy person next to him as backup. That's why she keeps naming the 540 members of Sentebale, because she wants to make it seem like not only like she's the lightning rod, that she's been taking all of this, all these insults and mistreatment on behalf of the 540 members and their families. Don't forget their families. Deborah Copeland, Baron, you have broken the code. Well, you know, I just thought I heard something there. Something very sly and very deliberate and very forced. So thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Yep. I know a phony when I see one. You know, I gave it a whole day because I just did not want to believe. And it pained me so much that even though I didn't know her, I was just so glad to see, you know, like you guys have been watching for a while. Have I been making a big fuss about the vice president of Colombia? Y'all know I didn't forget her name, but I can see her face. But I made such a big fuss about her because representation matters. But Sophie is doing such a disservice to Black women right now. She's doing a huge disservice by carrying on with this very loosely contrived storyline of misogyny and abuse and intimidation and such. And then she goes to Trevor Phillips, of all people, another British Empire honor, Sir Trevor Phillips. Okay, Sir Trevor Phillips. She goes to Sir Trevor Phillips. And maybe that's what her goal was. Maybe aside from somehow getting on the payroll, maybe she wants to be Dame Sophie. Dame Sophie. Yeah, that's it. And of course, that's all I need to hear is Dame Sophie. Because after that, every time you turn around, I'm be like, damn Sophie. That damn Sophie. I can't stand that damn Sophie. Oh, look, damn Sophie is on. So if she does get that honor, I promise you it's going to change my vocabulary. Even if she don't get it, she might get it. Joan Garcia says, Baron, we can all see that Sophie is really insane in the membrane, as the oldies rap song goes, says, the meaning is crazy in the head. That's right. Insane in the membrane. I remember that song. Points for you for remembering that song. Thank you so much for that. Sussex Soldier, thank you so much for the super chat, a super sticker. And let's continue. God, I cannot believe I've been talking about this nitwit for 2 hours. I cannot believe I've been talking about her for 2 hours. She disappoints me, though. She really disappoints me. And the fact that she is being so disruptive to this charity. And is it true that the naming rights for the charity, does that belong to Harry or Harry and Say So? That they will not, if they choose, is it true that they will not be able to continue as Sentebale? I mean, because there is a case to make. There is a case to make that that if they choose to refuse the use of that name to a charity that is operated by this little slick hustler, maybe they won't be able to use it. This little opportunist. Yeah, I mean, I have totally lost respect for her. I really have. And like I said, at one time I applauded the sight of her, seeing her there doing the work, whatever it was. I was just like, oh, look at her. Yep. I was like, look at her. So let me see here. Let me find the slides from today because I have lost track of where I was. Oh, I think this is it. Okay, got a little oh no, that's from yesterday or today. Yeah, that was from yesterday. Where's the one from today? Let me see here. Oh no, I think that's right. Yeah. We're good. We're good. I don't remember what this one was, but let's play it anyway. Let me see here. Mm,
I mean, what you have to bear in mind is it is very easy, especially in the papers over here, to kick Harry and Meghan. However, with this, it's not. He hasn't just gone and gone in a half, has he? He's gone. Prince Siso's gone. The board of trustees has gone. So he's got numbers on his side that way.
Yes. Yeah, so that makes you wonder if there's something, and I'm not saying the person in question is, we don't really know what's going on, but it's just interesting that so many people have gone. So there has to be something going on.
Yeah. I mean, what you have to bear in mind is it is very easy, especially in the papers over here, to kick Harry and Meghan. However, with this, it's not. He hasn't just gone and gone in a half, has he? He's gone. Prince Siso's gone. The board of trustees has gone. So he's got numbers on his side that way.
Yes, it does bear remembering that that she's the only one, whatever this was. You see, and that's why you know that she is the one that's in a desperate situation, because to go up against everybody, you mean to tell me there was not one person who heard your cry for help, heard your declaration that Harry is so unreasonable? There was not one person that in their conscience thought more of those children. And remember, I think there were two members, two trustees that I think they were from Africa, or at least one of them or two of them are from the community. Now she has no one from the community. There's no one on the board now from the community. They're gone. And remember, like I said, Harry was very careful to include the First Nations people when they went to Whistler and Vancouver. And I just don't believe that Harry would have been careless and so thoughtless and malicious to mistreat her. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And at this time, I'm just going to say I'm taking Harry's word. I don't believe her. Harry is not the one that has left a trail of financial destruction and failure. She is. She's the one that was involved in a hostile takeover. She worked for Meta. And Meta, Meta, they don't have a very good reputation. The people that are running Facebook do not have the best reputation. And the reason they don't is because they don't mind the fact that Facebook has just helped give the election, helped participated in giving the election to that person. Now, when Facebook refused to help last time by, allowing hate speech and stuff, guess what? Donald Trump didn't win. This time they were all on board. They said, oh no, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Everybody can say whatever they want, no matter how awful. Now he's in the White House again. That's the meta that she worked for. Okay? So seeing that someone worked for Meta, that's not necessarily a good thing. The financials, the Sentebale financials. Let's see. Now, I'm not sure how you want to interpret that, but those were the financials before she got there. That was the financials before she got there. So I'm not going to pretend like I understand what I'm looking at, because I don't. But some of the squatties, let me see, of a total income in the financials of 3.7 million was unrestricted in 2021. 1.9 million and 0.8 million was restricted to current program in 2021. And the total income of 0.5 million of gifts in kind, let me see. So yeah, I don't totally understand that. So I ain't gonna pretend like I do. But anyway, if you go to Sentebale, you can get the financials. I don't suppose they have been doctored. Did you see what I did there? I don't suppose they have been doctored. Huh? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Huh? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? You could go to Sentebale and take a look at the financial report, and let's hope that they have not been, doctored. Yeah, let's hope they haven't been doctored. Thank you, folks. I'll be here all night. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all night. Thank you. Okay. Where were we? I hope they haven't been doctored. Oh, I love her. I love
We get a
her.
real sense of the
Yeah, all right, girl. Okay.
The Sentebale plot twist that I feel many people are not talking about. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Lutspreneur, and I used to be a headhunter who has recruited to major charities, and I've recruited to chair positions. So let's get into it. You can't make this up. Not only does the chairperson of Sentebale refuse to step down after all the trustees resign, after the CEO resigns, and after the two founders resign. But this is the thing, within 24 hours, new trustees magically appear. And not only that, one name stands out. Ian Rawlinson, a known ally of Prince William. So wasn't Sentebale founded by Prince Harry to support vulnerable children? How did it suddenly get infiltrated by the other brothers' inner circle? Plot twist. So let's get the situation straight. We have a charity in financial ruin under a particular chairperson. We have all the original leadership gone. We have a major donor lost after 10 years of working with this charity, and suddenly the other brother's guy suddenly appears in charge. Is it a coincidence or is it a calculated takeover? All I know is something very shady is going on, and I'm going to continue watching the numbers. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur, and for more insights like these, please like and follow for more.
Remember what I said. Remember what I said. This is what happens when you poke the bear. This is what happens when you poke the bear. There are able-bodied, capable people that knows the business, that knows how things are supposed to run properly. Okay? People know, you know what they say. All you got to do is follow the numbers. Follow the money. Have you ever heard that saying before? Just follow the money. How do you know? I followed the money. When you follow the money, you find a hammerhead. Just follow the money. All shall be revealed. Follow the money. And that way, when you follow the money, that will help you deduce exactly what is going on. Then you'll be able to see whether or not someone has released a Sussex squad machine, the Sussex PR machine. Then you'll know. That's how you'll know if someone has released a machine on you. Mm-hmm.
The Sentebale plot twist that I feel many people are not talking about.
Oh, wait a minute. Did I do that one already? Let me see.
They raised 4.45.
Okay, sorry.
20. So, what happened to Sentebale's money? My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur, and I'm going to present some of the figures that I found online. 2019, Sentebale raised 3.93 million, and they spent 1.4 million fundraising. 2020, they raised 2.39 million and spent 334,000 fundraising. 2021, they raised 3.13 million and they spent 500,000 pounds fundraising. 2022, they raised 4.45 million and spent 800,000 pounds fundraising. 2023, which is post the current chairperson's era, they have raised less than 600,000 in total. Coincidence? I don't know, but I do know that apparently there has been a £500,000 spent on consultants in deciding the new fundraising strategy, which has been an epic fail because no fundraising money or no major donors were actually attracted to the charity. And the one major donor that they did have for years on end, the one who actually used to sponsor the polo matches, they declined to do so this year, but they did sponsor Prince Harry's Invictus Games. So again, one of the reasons apparently or allegedly why this chairperson was asked to leave by all the trustees was because they were unable to attract major donors despite saying they would do so. So again, drop your thoughts in the comment because this is an unfolding situation, and yeah, I would just love to know your thoughts. But I'm Elizabeth, I'm the author of The Lotspreneur, and I look and analyze businesses across all sectors, and this is of interest to me. Please like and follow for more insights like these.
Woo! Woo! Girl, I wouldn't want to be you. Mm-mm. No way. Doesn't that just bake your noodle? Doesn't that just bake your noodle? And you see there, unpaid contributions like that. Don't y'all know that that's going to make the rounds? And that is going to be what fuels this soap opera, is that somebody digs up there. And see, she's accusing Harry's PR machine. When this stuff is in the public domain, anybody could find that stuff. Now, she makes a statement that there's some kind of case that has been made, and a independent news media that is hostile toward Prince Harry, they say we can't find any such thing. How do you explain that? The only way you can explain that is to try to make people believe that Harry orchestrated that. She's the one who said that she went to the high court and all that kind of stuff. And they said, we don't find any record of it. Now, that is enough to cause a great deal of embarrassment that nobody can find these any documentation to support what you said. And I guess that would be enough to make you angry or hostile, and then tell the world that Prince Harry is plotting against me. Talk is cheap, but there's a price to be paid for everything. But talk is cheap. And let me see, I won't name the sponsor, but there is a sponsor that recently sponsored the Invictus Games. Now, it could be ISPS Honda, or it could be something else. I'm just kidding. It's ISPS Honda. They're the ones. And I think the guy that he's sitting there talking to right now, that's Harry's friend. And you can't be mad because this guy admires Harry, respects Harry. I would dare say he loves Harry. I mean, look at them. He does not have this relationship with the chairperson that refused to leave. He just doesn't. I don't know what to tell you. Take up polo. There are women that play polo. Take up polo. Yep. Take up polo if this does not please you. If this offends you, then you better learn to ride a horse, pick up the mallet, and play polo. Or just try to be a more likable person. Maybe that's what you should do. Anyway, I love her. So Sussex squad together, we are stronger. Sussex squad together, we are stronger. Now, Ian Dale. Ian Dale. Uh-oh. Okay. I got it.
But, allegedly she's paid out £600,000, to get consultants in. She lost a big donation because I think the Polo.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I should have played that one second. Let me go to the other one.
Barry St Edmunds has to say. Alison, very good morning. What do you think about this?
Well, I'm fuming. If I kind of stumble over my words, please forgive me. But before I make my point, I just want to say I'm enjoying your podcast, yours and Tez's podcast. It's amazing.
The check is in the post, Alison.
Thank you. I'm absolutely fuming. I'm a big Harry and Meghan fan. I'm quite a royalist. Yes, okay, they've made mistakes. We all make mistakes. But, as you and Tess have just said, and I've watched the interview on Sky News, the PR machine she's talking about, it's not a PR machine. Yet the people in this country and throughout the world who don't like the Sussex or Harry and Meghan will think that they've got this big PR machine. They haven't. What they're talking about is their online fan base, who have quite rightly so had a bit of a go at this CEO. The charity's been going quite happily for 18 years. She comes along. She does something, from what I've read, that the board didn't like. So they asked her to step down and resign. She wouldn't. So allegedly, she, I think, has tried to sue them. But I've also read reports that is not the case. And won't step down. And is having a go at Harry for putting this statement out. Now, can you imagine what our right-wing press or those who don't like Harry, if he hadn't put this statement out, they'd said, oh, you're hiding something. He had to be 1,000% transparent. And, he has stepped down along with the other prince in support of the board who stepped down. So it's not, and he I'm lost. I'm fuming.
You're incandescent, Alison. That's what
I'm totally. And, I read a lot of the comments online. I very rarely comment because I haven't got time.
What Alison in Barry St Edmunds?
Okay, now let me play the second part.
Read about, allegedly she's paid out £600,000, to get consultants in. She lost a big donation because I think the polo match last year that was held, I think in California in the end, was meant to be held somewhere else, but the donors pulled out. It's a mess, an absolute mess. And she needs to go. Plus, the other thing I've read is Ian Rawlinson, who's just gone on the board, is an ally to Prince William. Now, everybody's looking at that and coming up with conspiracy theories.
He was with her on Sky News this morning, wasn't he? And listen, we've run out of time, Alison. Thank you very much indeed. This is from T on a text message who says, Tessa Dunlop, Harry's personal spokesperson. Would you like to clear up this calumnious rumour, Tessa?
No, I'm not. I don't think that Harry's without criticism. Clearly, he behaves as he wants to. I do believe that he probably does wander into a board meeting and say, hey, I want to appoint that person. But I think more broadly what Harry's come up against here, and we saw it in what Sophie said this morning, when she refers to this polo match that's set up for the charity, and suddenly Harry comes along and says, I want Netflix, and then it's a commercial venture. And then I can see that's a big headache for the chairperson.
Read about, allegedly.
Anyway, I don't know what Tessa was on, and I don't know how that ends, but I don't really care. Let's see. So you guys, you see there, it's not all so cut and dry. It's not so doom and gloom as some may have felt it to be. There is a lot of people out there that are going to rally support for Prince Harry, and they're going to cast a lot of doubt on these comments that we're hearing, these misrepresentations, and in some cases, absolute lies. It's very desperate, and we wouldn't know about this if she had not appeared on Sky News. Why was she there? Why did she bring that old stuffy guy with her? See what I mean? Anybody could make it sound sinister. Anybody. So, got another one for you.
Chair of the charity that Prince Harry set up. She's been saying that it's harassing and toxic. She's Dr. Sophie Chandauka. Let's hear what she said to Trevor Phillips on Sky News.
Prince Harry authorized the release of a damaging piece of news to the outside world without informing me, or my country directors, or my executive director. And can you imagine what that attack has done for me, on me, and the 540 individuals in the Sentebale organizations and their family? That is an example of harassment and bullying at scale.
Now, a former trustee of the charity says they don't recognise these allegations, but Stephanie Boyce, as the former president of the Law Society, this is a big pickle.
I mean, it's unfortunate. It absolutely is unfortunate, given what the charity was set up to do. But equally, I've got two pieces of advice and suggested reading. The Charity Commission here produces a number of documents, the Essential Trustee, which is good reading, and of course, vicarious liability for a charity trustee. I think it's fair to say that I think when individuals take on becoming a trustee, I don't actually think they know what they're in for. And it's just a shame the way that this has all gone.
And Alva, will listeners divide on the culture war question of Prince Harry, or will this be seen on its merits as a charity stramash?
Well, good question. I guess people will just be putting themselves in the position of the chair and describing sort of being blindsided by this announcement from Prince Harry, him announcing to the world that he would be resigning from the charity rather than telling her and her employees first. I think we can probably see both sides of that.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. So this is about the way she got the news. She didn't like it because she didn't tell him.
Sure, but Harry had no constitutional role either in the monarchy or now in Sentebale either, because he wasn't a trustee, he was the patron. And as Stephanie says, trustees have a responsibility to be, quote, sufficiently informed. And Harry's role as patron has no real role other than as a figurehead. So I'm afraid it's just a bit of bit like ferrets in a sack, isn't it?
Right, that's how it's coming over and fighting at the charity he set up all those years ago. Thank you for getting us underway.
Okay. Harry is just a figurehead. She was blindsided. I still say it has to do with $600,000 of spending. That's what I say. Whatever they say, fine. But I still want to go back to that $600,000. And of course, Prince Harry this, Prince Harry that. For someone who claims to care about decolonizing, Sophie Chandauka sure forgets the Black prince who co-founded Sentebale. Erasing African voices is not decolonizing. Erasing Black voices is not decolonizing. And thank you to the squatty who posted this on the social media. Zandy Sussex wants to remind us that narcissists create conflict, drama, and absolute chaos, then play the victim in the reality they created. So she has created all this chaos, and now she's playing the victim. And of course, it's not complete unless you give the victim card or play the victim card, or sorry, accuse someone else of playing the victim card. Right? It's kind of like they were trying to say that the Sussexes were playing victim, but in the past, I don't know, I'm going to say 14 months, maybe 18 months, all we've heard was that everybody's picking on Kate, and William got to be with Kate, and they not going to do nothing because they got to be with their kids, and people don't understand, and all of these excuses why they cannot work. Those are the victims right there. William is upset because Harry left. Harry is his own person. If Harry chooses to stay and continue to be abused by a system that is stacked up against him, that is Harry's prerogative. If Harry chooses to leave for the sake of his own health and well-being, that of his wife's mental health and well-being, and of course his children that he didn't want to raise in a system that wouldn't even protect William from getting a skull fracture, I can see a good reason for that. If William wasn't safe from getting a skull fracture, Harry, Meghan, and their children are not safe in that institution. And that's just my opinion. And I don't care who knows it. But they have been playing victim cards or producing victim cards every week, these two have. And they use their mouthpiece, Big Arm Becky, and all the rest of the Royal Rota. Everybody's picking on her. Everybody's picking on him. He's got a job to do. They can't work because blah, 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 blah. Isn't it interesting? Harry and Meghan go on about their business, and these are the two that are playing the victim card. Everything is because Meghan came and Harry left. Meghan came and Harry left. Meghan was only here and then she left. Harry was supposed to stay here and now he's gone. So now they're victims. Instead of just getting on with it, they have done everything that they could think of. Dressing like Harry and Meghan. Well, at least one of them trying to talk like Harry, and so on and so forth. They keep trying to reinvent themselves in Harry and Meghan's image, which is an indication that they were important to the institution. And maybe if you wouldn't have chased them away, you wouldn't have to sit up here and play victim. So that's what's interesting. The people that are accused of being the victims or playing the victim card, they're the ones that are really getting on with life. It's those that make the accusation. And of course, there's surrogates that go out there and make the accusation that's really highlighting the fact that the, the antagonists, they're the ones that are really playing the victim card. They're the ones who are doing it. Harry and Meghan were not going to say anything. They only had to speak up because these two, Kensington Palace, and anybody else with a vested interest, like the tabloid media and their mouthpiece, they wouldn't leave Harry's wife alone. Harry was hoping to go away in peace. Should have left her alone. They didn't have a choice but to speak out. And every so often, you'll find someone, very rare it happens, but there's been a few times that there has been the acknowledgement from the Royal Rota, like Jeannie Bond, when she decides to drop a truth bomb, that'll say, if you don't want people talking about Kate, then we need to stop picking on Meghan. In one ear, out the other. Yep. I tell you, anytime somebody plays the victim, or actually anytime someone like Sophie accuse Harry of playing victim, and that's all she's going to do for the next however long this lasts. She's going to sit there and be the victim. Everybody's got her wrong. Harry mistreated her. Harry turned people against her. Anyway, I don't know why I thought a runaway train was an adequate way to depict this situation, but there it is. Now, we're going to change the topic, and I have this and just a little bit more about our Duchess, and then we're done. So, for Mothering Day, Kate Middleton decided that she would go back to nature. She didn't actually go to nature. They just decided to use a little bit more of the footage, the lost footage from the day she went out in nature, walking through fields of grain, sitting on top of sand dunes, rolling around in the sand on the beach and all that kind of stuff, right? A whole camera crew, a man whose claim to fame is doing commercials. Anyway, he did make a commercial. It looked like Herbal Essence. It looked like Summer's Eve. It looked like a whole bunch of things, but it was just Kate trying to tell the public that that she's okay and that she's still here, right? So I'm not going to share the video. I'm just going to show you a little portion right here. I really had to stop and try to figure out what in the world is she doing, but she's touching a tree. I haven't seen anybody this fascinated with a tree since Miss Jane Pittman. Yeah, I ain't seen anybody this fascinated with a tree since Miss Jane Pittman. And you can tell she's got that same, miserable dress, this one. So yeah, they just grabbed a little footage from before. And that was her way to say Happy Mother's Day. This was so contrived and so fake and so phony. Even the British press called them out on it. This was just lunacy. And because of that, I'm surprised that they went back to it. Like I said, it was this little scene here. And then there was the wind blowing, a ladybug. You know, the ladybug represents the opening of Meghan's home lifestyle. You know how Meghan opens up with the bee, right? So this one, it opens up with Kate with a ladybug on some kind of plant. Other than that, it's just a big fat nothing burger. It's just a bunch of pretty scenes of nature, Kate touching a tree, and then it just says Kensington Palace. End of. That's it. Just an excuse, just a way to remind you that Kate is still important, I guess. That's it. Just to remind you that Kate is still important. She's still alive. You know, they don't forget about her while you making cakes and arranging flowers. Don't forget about Kitty. Don't forget about Kitty. That's the whole message, is Kate is still going to be queen and all that. So, you know, that look that she has on her face right there, I'm telling you guys, I I know she's not an actress, but at the very least, one should be able to stay in character just walking in a straight line. She can't even do that. Look at the look on her face. It's a cross between happy and confused. She only has two expressions, happy and confused. Yeah. They said, now, Your Highness, walk this way. And she's walking and she has that little tick and she don't know what to do with her hands. She don't know what to do with her mouth. She don't know what to do. That's why she looked crazy like that. And I feel sorry. I feel sorry for the poor people that had to produce this program, that had to spend time with Kate and William. That could not have been easy to have witnessed this and this. That couldn't have been easy. It's enough to make you want to puke. Manipulative film. That is Richard Eden. Richard Eden called it manipulative film. That's how bad this was. That's why I'm surprised that they would actually use even just one clip of it, because it was awful. It was just the worst thing ever. Dreadful. And dreadful might be too nice of a word. And then it really took a downward spiral. So embarrassing. Mom and Dad, Princess Charlotte, hilarious reaction to Prince William kissing Kate Middleton. It wasn't just a reaction, it was shock. It was shock because she'd never seen it before. She's seen people kiss on television and in the movies and stuff, but Mom and Dad? And as you can see, Louis is horrified. Louis is trying to put a stop to it. This was just gross. This is like one of the grossest things ever. And then when they laid on their back, I mean, if Harry and Meghan had done something as phony as this, you've never heard anybody refer to Harry and Meghan's affection as phony. And you never will, because it is authentic, it is organic. This is so contrived and so, dare I say, unnatural. It's like watching two different species trying to mate. It is sickening. And I don't know where George is, but I'm pretty sure he's probably traumatized. George isn't in this clip because he's somewhere trying to avoid looking at it. It is absolutely stomach churning. What's that word that they always use? It's cringe. It's cringy. It's very cringe. And over here, how can we take royal reporting serious when they call a highly produced and edited video candid footage? Highly produced and edited. You know why we know it's highly produced and edited? Because 1 minute, Kate is walking around in that hideous dress. And then next thing you know, she's wearing some look like a little jumpsuit or something that she has on. Yeah, this is how we know it's contrived and edited. The Telegraph says release of candid footage of, and by the way, that was Graham Smith who mentioned that how could you take the media seriously? Release of candid footage of family in Norfolk demonstrates that after series of royal crises, couples' bond is stronger than ever. Couples' contrived connection is more ridiculous than ever. And look at there. Who wrote that? Camilla Tominey. Well, you can't believe what she says. That's Camilla Tominey. That's almost as, that's like taking words from this one. They're not into each other like that, and everybody knows it. Vivian Lee Seymour says, he can't even act like he wants to be there for 5 minutes. Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, Prince William, Kensington Palace. I think she meant to hashtag those, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it is pretty gross. Kate's new hope. Why is this girl's head always leaning over to one side? Huh? Why is her head always leaning to one side? She always got that weird, wonky little thing going on with her head. I don't know. I don't know. I told you she's got a lot of tics, y'all. And I'm not making, yes, I am making fun of her. But she's got all them little tics. She's got a bunch of facial tics. What do you call it? Little nervous tics. She got a whole bunch of tics. And it's not her fault. So I know I shouldn't make fun of her, but it's very distracting. I mean, I'd be wanting to take her serious, but then I'd be seeing the way her head is twitching, her eye jumping, wringing her hands and all that kind of stuff. It's very distracting. But let them tell it. She's cool and calm and ready to do some busy work. I know this is so bad, ain't it? But yeah, she's cool and calm and ready to do some busy work. So look out. Here comes some busy work. Y'all get out of her way now. Kate is about to do some busy work. I gotta stop. Anyway, as I was saying, I was just very surprised that they brought that back out again, because I thought anybody with good sense would never want to see it again because of how silly it looks. And you know, the local library had actually asked Will and Kate if they could use their house cat for promotion. Do you guys remember that? They asked if they could use the cat for a little promotion, and well, it didn't go to plan because when they were trying to take a picture of the cat head started tilting to one side. Wonder where he get that from. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. Willie and Kitty in the woods together. And then this is the worst. This is the worst. I just, like I said, even Richard Eden said that this was ridiculous. There was so much criticism for it. And this is how they're using the taxpayers' money. It's putting these little vignettes together to compete with the Sussexes. But when the cameras are not rolling, or at least when they think nobody's paying attention, this is the real William and Kate. That's the real William and Kate. It's like the War of the Roses, the movie, of course. They cannot stand each other. Now, I think, is this the last one? I think this is it. Yeah, we're going to close with this. I hosted a dinner party like Meghan Markle, and I'm never going back. I royally stepped up my game, despite the fact that I consider myself a single, independent, modern woman with lofty career aspirations and a feminist spirit. I love nothing more than slapping on an apron and spending the afternoon prepping for a dinner party, the 1950s housewife style. There's truly no joy quite like a Saturday spent hosting friends, cooking good food, and decanting a wine I can't pronounce. While I can't say I'm all that tuned in to the royal drama or Meghan Markle gossip, as a Ina Garden Martha Stewart wannabe, I was intrigued by the buzz surrounding the Duchess's new Netflix series. And not just because the entire internet had, crap to talk about her one pot pasta recipe and is Sussex now, by the way. Sussex remark in reference to her new last name, something that I'm afraid isn't going to stick with the hoily poily. If there's a homemaking reality show, I'm going to watch it. So that I did. So yeah, there you go. So if you want to see this entire article where she talks about it's in a magazine, online magazine called Delish, Delish, Delish. And you know what? It's not a very long article. Let's have at it, shall we? And by the way, you guys, if you need to go, I'm pretty much done now. So we're just going to talk about this. To say I was inspired would be an understatement. Whatever feelings you have about Meghan Markle, the girl knows how to host. In fact, since I'm always down to learn and grow and better my skills, I decided to cosplay as Meg for the night. We do have the same name. After all, I planned out an entire dinner party menu with recipes that appeared on the show and took her hosting tips to heart. Here's everything I learned. Number one, embrace shortcuts. Look, I'm not going to pretend Meghan wasn't getting elaborate with her lavender moist towelettes and homemade jam, but she still embraces shortcuts. She served store-bought croissants with fresh strawberries and rearranged grocery store flowers. Yes, flowers from the grocery store to make them her own. I followed suit. Since I had a busy day of prep ahead of me, I decided to Instacart my groceries instead of IRL shopping. What IRL shopping? Well, anyway, y'all tell me what that means. Instead of IRL shopping. Oh, in real life shopping. I sourced ingredients and stocked up on wine, obviously from a few different places. Thank God Instacart has no delivery fees and saves myself so much time in the process. When I came to actually planning and preparing the menu, I was intentionally about where I took shortcuts. I was intentional about where I took shortcuts. Like Meg, and how to elevate them, I chose her one pot pasta recipe for the main, knowing it would cook while I socialized and refilled cocktails. I baked her focaccia in the oven well before my guests arrived. For dessert, I decided to plate store-bought cookies, but heated them up in the oven so they tasted fresh. All right, so next, always have food on the table when your guests arrive. Oh, by the way, I got some photos here. There you go. Always have food on the table when your guests arrive. Meghan introduced the rule early on in her series. Never let a guest arrive without something to feed them on the table. I really took this advice to heart and made sure I prepped her tulip toast well in advance. I prepped my signature cocktail, the Meg, after me and Meghan Markle, of course, ahead of time too. I felt so on theme for spring with lavender hue Empress Gin. Spring with lavender hue Empress Gin. That looks tasty, actually. When my guests arrived, they were greeted with a beverage and a carefully curated spread. Number 3, next, don't be afraid to put your own spin on things. Meghan wasn't afraid to put her own spin on recipes or crafts in the show. She uses less sugar in her jam. It isn't and isn't afraid to plate store-bought treats like they're homemade. So I decided to take the same approach. Although I was recreating all of her recipes, I embraced creative freedom in the process. When making her tulip toast, I elevated them for the audience. Markle made hers for the children's party, and mine were for adults. So that's the tulip toast over there on the left side. I skipped the butterfly and ladybug design and instead topped the bread with goat cheese and elegant edible flowers. I also snuck a few pieces that were topped with a Calabrian chili, red pesto I had picked up on a recent shopping expedition to Williams Sonoma, and I was so glad that I did it. And lastly, there's 2 more categories. Personalize the experience to your guests. Meghan is so intentional with her guests. In the first episode, she created a gift basket of homemade truffle popcorn and beautiful jarred Epsom salt for their stay. She really considers who she is catering to, and I wanted to embrace the same thoughtfulness and attention to detail. One of my guests is not drinking, so while I prepped a cocktail for everyone with Empress Gin, simple syrup, Juliet liquor, and fresh lemon, I decided to make a mocktail as well so my sober friend could feel included. And then lastly, presentation is everything. So let's go to the presentation. There you go. It doesn't matter if the food is amazing, if the presentation is lackluster, your guests aren't going to feel all that excited about what's in front of them. Markle really emphasized this throughout her series. Presentation, presentation, presentation. I mean, you saw her, what is that? Her crudité? Whatever that spread, the the rainbow thing. No. It was the vegetables, right? Where she had the peas and everything. Anyway, I cannot say it. I set the table before my guests arrived and arranged the appetizers, spreads on my countertop with glasses out and ready to be filled. Since I was really going for a spring aesthetic for dinner, I chose plenty of fresh blooms, prepped botanical ice, just like Meghan's, used a bright and colorful serving tray, and plated everything to precision. The result was worth the work. The entire challenge really pushed me outside my usual hosting comfort zone and has inspired me to up my game a la Meghan Markle more than just once a year. So there you go. You can see once again the spread that she put together. I like the fact that she's posing just like Meghan, reaching over the cutting board. She has the ice with the flowers in it. I just noticed that. Yeah, she has the ice with the flowers in it. She didn't go for the ladybugs, but that looks very interesting anyway. And then this is the table setting that she used. And someone else here, is it Gina Louise Skinner, author, on Instagram says, I have been Meghan-fluenced. I have been Meghan-fluenced, and I am scattering edible flower confetti on everything. In my hibiscus tea, on cakes, biscuits, the cat. If it's within arm's reach, it's getting prettified. I love that. If it's within arm's reach, it's getting prettified. So that's it, you guys. I am done. I did not know I was going to be on for 3 hours. I do apologize that it was so long, but here we are. Such is where we are right now. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Legs, for being a moderator. Who else is here moderating? Lydia Washington, Adrian Burrow. I'm looking. Who else is moderating tonight? Is Cookies and Creams here? But you notice we don't get a lot of what do you call it? During the lives. Oh, there's Cookies and Cream. We don't get a lot of trolls, do we? It's very rare. Well, if I missed any of the moderators, I do apologize. But yeah, we don't get a lot of cookies and cream. We don't get a lot of trolls here. Even in the comments, we don't get so many trolls. Olive Perry, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for being here. Well, you guys, that's that. I hope that the information that everyone is sharing, all of the Sussex friendly spaces, all of the squaddies on social media and such, I hope that this has been able to calm your nerves a bit about everything that's going on. I know it's very jarring when you have someone make some gross accusations like that, but it is worth noting that, after all, we are talking about Prince Harry, and we know him. You know what I'm saying? As much as you could know someone that in most of our cases we never met, but we kind of watched him grow up, and we have kind of been there during the best of times, the worst of times, and through natural selection, people tend to gravitate toward Harry and not his brother, because his brother is just not as genuine and likable, and that's just the way it is. And he does nothing to ensure that people will have more respect for him. But Harry Harry walks the walk, he talks the talk, and he has done a lot of self-reflection. There were some deficits that needed to be smoothed out over the years, and he's done the work. He's really worked hard to be the man that he is today. And I cannot sit idly by and watch some opportunists try to undermine him in such a way. I don't think it's fair to him. I don't think it's fair to the people that support him, the people that love him. I just don't think it's fair. So standing on principle, which is the way that I began supporting the Sussexes in the first place, I just cannot allow that. Cannot allow that. So, but let's hope that this is cleared up sooner rather than later. We still need to pray for them and hope that truth will come to light and people will see that everything has been done above board wherever possible. And also, I do pray for Sophie that she finds some kind of happiness, because I'm just afraid that the reason why we're here is because she's very unhappy, and that her spirit is very unsettled, and that she is trying to figure out what to do with the rest of her life. She's at that age where she's probably trying to figure out what to do with the rest of her life. And Sentebale is probably not that place. It's not a good fit. Their mission is in conflict with what she wants it to be. So I do hope she finds her happiness. Yes, absolutely. Oh, thank you, Heather Strout. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I have blocked so many people. I couldn't even tell you how many. I think the other factor is I have blocked a lot of people. There are some words that, even in the comment section, there are some words that are simply unavailable. So if you notice the regular comment section, I won't tell you what the words are, but if someone attempts to use certain language or certain words, it's just not going to go through. So you can really fine tune the what do you call it? The well, and it's all done with AI or whatever, but you can fine tune it where abusive language is flagged and stuff like that. So then I get a chance to go back to look at it before it will post, and you can decide whether to eliminate it or to approve of it. And so if you have used some rather choice language and you don't see your comment there, it's because it's a little screening mechanism that will block it. Now for the live chat, I don't think it works for that, but for the regular comments it does. So even in the regular comments, we just don't get a lot of trolls on Royal Sussex, not as much as most I would imagine. But if you see a Sussex friendly channel and you notice that it doesn't have all that abusive language in the comments, that's because it was probably blocked. because we don't need that. We don't need that in a safe space. This is our space. This is where we come to celebrate the triumphs, where we come to acknowledge the evildoers and such, and give them a good dressing down. This is our space for that. This is where we drag the rest of the royals, the left behinds, and the wannabes. So we don't need all of that negative stuff. I don't even want to argue with those people. They got so many other places that they can go and make their comments. The only reason why they come to this space is because they're trying to demoralize us, trying to make you feel less than, trying to they're not going to change the way you feel about Harry and Meghan, of course. But what they want to do is they want to take the joy away from the moment. Can't allow them to do that. Yeah. Yeah, it was an attempted hijacking. Yeah. Yeah, in other words, she wants to hitch her wagon. She wants to hitch her wagon to somebody else's triumphs and success. Before I go, you guys, why don't we take a look at the Instagram and just see if there's any last little something to share. Let's take one last look. I do a little reconnaissance work. Oh, God. Who is he talking to? Let me see. Looking more confused, trying to make his point, but failing because it's baseless. I'm trying to figure out who is he speaking to, though. I don't know who he's speaking to, though. Okay. All right. I don't see oh Lord. They're so full of it. Yeah. Anyway, this is stuff I'll share tomorrow. Not important for tonight. But yeah, you guys, just be aware that they're going to they're going to play this up for whatever it's worth. The tabloids, they're going to do what they do. So just brace yourself. Nothing is ever as bad as it seems. Oh boy. Global financial meltdown. Shares plummet across the world over fears he will slap 20% tariff on everything imported. Oh God, I hope not. That's a distraction, of course. That is a distraction. You know, some people watch adult movies to get excited, and some people slap a 20% tariff. Either way is kind of repulsive. uh, Good night, everyone. Good night. Say good night, y'all. Because I am done. I'm just looking at a few things. Oh, you know what? I accidentally I accidentally hit the arrow and switched out of the whole thing. Yeah, I probably should get off of here now. Yeah, like a stepping stone, I think. I think she was trying to use Sentebale as a means to the next big thing. I mean, how old is she? She's you know, she's not young. She's not young, so and I don't know if she's 47, right? So she's not old, but she's not young either. So she's 47 and career-wise, she's, you know, making it around the bend and what, maybe she has about another good 20, 30 work years ahead of her. Do a lot of damage in 30 years. But whatever the case may be, she'll probably never retire. Um, yeah, but it just doesn't sound right. Prince Harry accused of toxic work, and it just doesn't sound right. I'm looking at the what is that Wikipedia to see if they put any updated information. They do reflect what's happening this week, though. She calls herself a whistleblower, and I'm trying to figure out what she was blowing the whistle about. The only thing that she blowing the whistle about is what's happening with her. She's blowing the whistle because they asked her to step down. And so she said it was mismanagement and all that kind of stuff. That's what she's blowing the whistle about. I wonder who saw her coming and thought that she was trouble and just didn't speak up. I wonder who recommended her for that position. Let's see here. Really? So you're saying that it's unusual that someone with a honorary, by the way, congratulations, 27 years old, receiving your doctorate? That is impressive. That is super impressive. We are so proud of you. But yes, as I was saying, the only person that I know that had an honorary doctorate, but of course they didn't use it. I know that at the end of the Cosby Show, you would see William Cosby Jr. You know, he used it like that, but he never asked anybody to refer to him as doctor, and certainly nobody did. I don't know if he had an honorary or not. I don't know if he went back to school, but I do remember seeing it there. Gosh, they said that Snow White movie didn't do very well. I don't know why. Let me see. Right. I've seen that before. Okay. I've seen that before. During the commencement ceremony, they give out those honorary doctorates. Hmm. Oh, cousin. Really? Okay. Well, I mean, are we just saying that or is that a real thing? Because we're going to find out anyway. Yeah. Well, as best I can figure is that she's saying the mismanagement was that they were not embracing the future. The mismanagement was allowing Harry to suggest another board member, and everybody else agreed that it was okay. You know, it doesn't. She doesn't say whether or not that person was qualified. All she kept saying was, and he did not discuss it with me. It was not discussed with me. And nobody discussed it. You know, okay. I don't know what did or did not happen, except I trust Harry enough that he did nothing wrong. That I know for certain is that Harry didn't do anything wrong. But I don't care if I was 10 years old, 20 years old, or 30 years old. I, along with a co-founder, Prince So, the two of us started a charity that has helped tens of thousands of people in the past 20 years. And I suggest this person should be a trustee. Was she expecting some kind of, I don't know, a new car, a gift certificate for Saks Fifth Avenue? Take me out to lunch and explain it to me. I don't even know what the particulars about that situation was, but you have to show the malicious intent that is being suggested, because and that is if that even happened, because you never know with a little slick hustler like that. But if Harry recommended a new member to the board, a member that is more than qualified to be there, because she didn't say the person was unqualified. She just said that he didn't mention it to her, and that it is of her opinion that everybody felt they were obliged to go along with it because that's Prince Harry. You know what I'm thinking? So what if it was? But I just don't see Prince Harry operating like that. I just don't. Okay, and with that, you all, I am going to say good night. Thank you very much. God bless. Thank you very much to the moderators. Thank you for your very generous and thoughtful donations and cash apps and PayPals and such. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the memories. Da 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 da. And so I thank you for the memories. Okay, cheers.